Since the dawn of man, we've looked up the stars and wondered. The night skies give cryptic answers, but still we ask and wonder. Curiosity has led us to many strange places. Sometimes we're rewarded by the curiosity, and sometimes we regret what we find lurking in the darkness. This is my journey, an attempt to bring lightness to dark places and understanding where there's been only mystery. Please join me as I traverse the night. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of NightTripper, episode 8, Feizal's Return. Welcome back,
I'm
my
back.
friend. Yes, Feizal is
Good
back.
to be back.
Yes, I'm glad to be doing more shows, and I'm glad that you are part of it. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, you reached out to me a week ago, a few days ago, and you're like, "Hey, I got more stories, man. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. How you doing, man? Everything good?
I'm good.
A little warm?
A
little hot?
I'm quite hot.
Right? I know I could
Yeah.
see a little sheen of like sweat from your.
Yeah, it's over in the UK. We're not. It's always hot in summer, but only for a few weeks, and we're never prepared for it. So we do moan quite a lot. It's about 35, 36 degrees today. Up in the 90s.
Yeah,
but for us, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's warm for sure.
Yeah.
Plus, you guys are not
humid.
prepared for it. Yeah. Oh, it's humid too.
Yeah, no aircon or anything. So.
No good. Well,
Yes.
Hopefully our conversation will take your mind off of it for a little bit. Trying to think if I've had any kind of experiences since last we talked. What's funny is that I love to talk about like the stories and stuff that some of the guests that I've had. I like to share them with people at work, and I enjoyed telling a few people the stories that you shared. Like the people that from the last episode you talked about getting a call for people that maybe didn't watch the episode. You used to be a constable, right? A police officer, and you got a call to an apartment. Can you kind of like recount that a little bit just to get the juices going and tell us a little bit what happened?
I myself and a colleague got called by control to go to a block of flats for a report of a criminal damage. So we got there. It's an area we know very well. It's quite a nasty area, so we've had a lot of action there before. So we kind of went there prepared for anything. Went up to the third or fourth floor to talk to a couple. It was a nice surprise because that area, everyone seems to hate us. So when we knocked on the door, they were quite nice people and quite welcoming. So that was nice for a change.
This is nice. This is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they must not be local, and they've just recently moved in. It was kind of like a council housing, so like welfare housing. So I think they've been on the list for quite some time. They finally got into a place. So it was a youngish couple with a baby, I think only a few months old. So I asked them what happened. They said, well, a window in the child's room, the window is completely shattered, smashed. So knowing what some of the kids in that area were like, throwing stones and playing with air rifles and things, I thought it might have been that. So I looked at the window, and it was uniformly shattered, but I couldn't see a point of impact. There was no hole or anything, so I couldn't work out how it was broken. So I said, like, I'll put a report on, but it's unlikely it's going to go anywhere because it's quite a bit of a mystery how the window is broken. So I said, is there anything else that's happened since you've been here? And they said, we've only been here for a few weeks. We don't know anyone, so we've not made any enemies or anything. But the wife was looking a bit strange, and she said, well, there was a few things that have happened. I said, go for it, kind of tell me what's been going on. And she said a few days ago, her baby was in the cot. So she went to pick her up, and in the cot there was loads of these little furry toys, like little bears and things, like a good 20 or so of them. Mm-hmm. They were kind of sprawled out all over the bed. The baby was kind of lying on them all. So she picked the baby up, walked to the door, turned around, and all of the toys were stacked up along one side of the cot. Which when she told me that, like my skin started getting
right.
tingling things. I'm thinking, okay, that's I know that can't be explained by any of us there. And she said, yeah, it kind of scared the hell out of her. I said, yeah, understandably. Then the husband said, yeah, there's a few more things. So me being me, I'm thinking, like, what else? Like, go on.
Right, yeah. What else is it? Yeah.
Yeah. My colleague was looking a bit freaked out. But he's quite curious too. So
you weren't expecting that. You were expecting, like, maybe some
just
kind of vandalism
sort of vandalism kind of thing. Yeah. So, so the husband said a few times when they've gone to bed, the kitchen tap is turned all the way on, and not like a dripping tap, like it's turned as far as the tap will go. So you have to get up in the middle of the night and turn it all the way off again, which is seriously weird. And he said on one occasion, he walked into the living room, turned the lights on, and in the corner of the room was a small girl, like a child.
No,
looked
sir.
Straight at this girl. The girl looked straight at him and then just disappeared.
No, sir.
There's not a great deal I can do to help you with that, unfortunately, other than calling Dr. Venkman.
Right. I mean, what can you say to that? I mean, I
mean, I felt bad for the people because they were like genuinely scared.
Yeah.
They've been on the waiting list. They've finally moved into this place, and they were kind of stuck there now. I said, it's not physically harmed you. And after he said about the child, the small girl he saw, and then I thought, well, like the baby's toys being all stacked up and things, and even the tap being turned on is kind of a bit of a mischievous thing. So I thought maybe, I didn't say that to them, but I'm thinking maybe a girl died in that apartment or something, that flat or something. I said to him, look, I don't think you're in any harm, kind of thing. If there are any other like physical damages or anything, then don't hesitate to call again.
Right.
But I had to leave it at that. So I left them to it. Myself and my colleague went back to the car. Sort of drove around the corner, parked up somewhere quiet. It was the middle of the night time, and we just kind of sat there looking at each other, thinking, "What the hell was that?" And then we've got to give an update to control, to dispatch.
Yeah. So
I called in the radio and asked for a phone call, which sometimes you can do. It's a very lengthy update or private. So I didn't want this going out over the radio, just like a complete kook.
Right.
So I got the control to call me, and I explained it to control, and control were quite freaked out. The female dispatcher was like, she agreed with me. Like I said to her, like, to me, it seems like suspected paranormal activity, and she said, "I have to agree with you."
Mm-hmm.
She says, leave it with me. I'll close the log off, but I don't know what she had to write or do
Right.
the call, but she got rid of it.
Yeah.
But I've often wondered about that place. When I went home after that shift, I jumped on Google and did a bit of research on the flat. I couldn't find anything. Like I've tried to
Mm-hmm.
put, deaths or child deaths, or accidents, disasters,
Right.
fires, or anything, but I couldn't really find. There wasn't much detail on that building at all. I
Mm-hmm.
think if I look in the right place, maybe you might be able to find something
Mm-hmm.
on a microfiche somewhere.
Right.
Interesting, definitely interesting one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know about here either in America, but I just wonder, is there any kind of protocol for any kind of paranormal thing for the police department? Like, is there anything, like, has that
No,
happened
it's
before? Do you like put it in a certain file? Like,
I've heard a few other colleagues that have had experiences, not at that flat, but just in general
right,
doing the
in
job.
general.
And most people just keep it to themselves. They might tell a few friends, but they probably feel embarrassed to talk to
Right.
like a supervisor, because they'll
Right.
think, do you need, are you mentally ill or something? But
Like,
it's
are
not.
you
It's not.
okay?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
need sectioning?
Right.
But it's not been spoken about like for that training. Like it's never a subject that comes up.
Right.
In hindsight, like maybe I should have asked, but I think I would look like Fox Mulder if I asked that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta think though, because there's two things I wanted to talk about that on that is um I think with ghosts, I don't know if they have like a set of rules. Like you talked about, maybe someone died there. And I feel like I don't know if that's like a set thing. Like I don't know if someone has to die in that place for it to be haunted. Like because I lived in a house when I was a kid, and the house was fairly new. I mean, it was probably less than 10 years old. Not to say someone could have died. As far as I know, no one did. But man, that house was haunted I mean, so haunted, so much activity.
Yeah. You've had a
But
lot of experiences there, haven't you?
yeah, especially as a kid, I had a lot of experience. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if there's like a set rule um about that. And then also my other point is England, as old culturally and civilization wise, like your country has to be haunted. Like, I mean, you guys have so much history. I can't imagine, like my country is fairly new when it comes to civilizations, but I
Yeah.
mean, England's got to be just stacked with all kinds of lore and stories
There's endless stories here. Like for per square mile, how small this country is. Um, I think we've probably got as many, if not more, than many other countries when it comes to ghost stories.
Mhm.
Plus, I think it helps when we have authors like Charles Dickens and things like.
Mhm.
It's kind of like inbuilt,
Mhm.
for a long time. The kind of like the traditions of telling. It's not in Victorian times. It was a Christmas tradition on Christmas Day
Right.
or Christmas Eve. The family would get together and tell ghost stories around the fire, which I think we should bring that back. I like that.
I
Not
do
just
too.
Halloween, but
Yeah.
Christmas as well.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we do that like campfires. Like when we would go camping here,
yeah,
we would kind of sit around the fire and tell ghost stories and
I
scare
love
each
that.
other. But I
Yeah,
mean, that was fun. It was scary, but fun. Sometimes there's something thrilling about being scared, I guess. But I wonder if there's places like, and I don't even know how you would study this, but I mean, is there places that are more haunted than other places? And then why? Why would that be? Older civilizations, maybe more people have passed. I don't know.
there's lots of.
Sorry, father-in-law's yelling. Go ahead.
Is he gonna get your dogs?
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of theories here. History's a big one. I mean, there's many countries as old, if not older, than this one. So there must be many other stories around. Think of countries like ancient Iraq, was Mesopotamia, and like was Persia, like the original, like Iran and stuff. These are seriously old civilizations that have been around for thousands of years. So, the Egyptians, they must have. But in England, down in the southeast, there's a village called Pluckley Village, sort of down towards a town called Ashford, and that up until I think recently was considered the most haunted village in England, because they're like in terms of individual hauntings around. It's not a very big village. It's a very beautiful, picturesque village. If you didn't know, you drive through it, you think it's really nice cottages and old pubs. I think you'd like it. But I went there with a friend who was a bit more local. She showed me around, and I didn't feel any. I normally feel weird things if I'm in places like that's like a thing that I have, but I didn't feel anything there. It was in the daytime, which should or shouldn't make a difference.
Sometimes it does, honestly. Sometimes I feel differently at night as opposed to, I feel different energies or whatever when it's dark.
And I think just the darkness of night, where some of your senses aren't as effective as they are in the daytime. I think you probably feel a bit more vulnerable.
Right.
So that's why people naturally feel a bit more scared in the dark. But there's many. There's a monk. There's some nuns. There's like a family. There's a lot of different ghosts there. And there's a wood called the Howling Wood. It's called Daring Wood, but the locals call it Howling Wood, because apparently you go in there, it's very active, and you can hear screaming. But personally, it's probably foxes. Because foxes just sound like babies screaming. And
yes,
stuff,
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah, I'll have foxes outside my window sometimes, my bedroom, and they make such a noise. It sounds like something murdered outside.
Yeah, because they don't have like dog voices. Their voices are different than canines.
Kind of squeakier.
Yeah, squeakier.
Yeah, squeakier. Yeah, kind of weird.
I wonder though, like you're talking about Mesopotamia and like those ancient. I wonder if there's like a time that maybe the spirits move on. Like, is there a time?
That's also another theory, that in time, when their kind of energy starts to can wear down, they kind of eventually just vanish and they're never seen again.
Yeah.
So I guess the hauntings that are from a long time ago must have a lot of power to still
that still linger.
But I know of a haunting. Actually, I'll go into my first news story, and it's my neighbour upstairs. So thinking about that, not all ghosts have to be like in Victorian clothing with ball and chains and things.
Right.
This is we were good friends. Is an older guy called Kenny. He was a taxi driver. The black cabs in London. He drove one of those, and I'm in like a maisonette, so like a ground floor. It's just two ground floor and one floor above me. So Kenny and his wife lived above my flat, and I've been here for 18 years. They've been here for way longer than that.
Oh wow!
So I mean, it's quite a few years ago now that he passed. But he had cirrhosis of the liver, non-alcohol related, but he had cirrhosis that ended up killing him. And went to his the crematorium was literally around the corner, so I went to like a local service for him. It was a good service. It's actually quite funny. They're telling like funny stories, and
I would prefer that. Yeah.
It was a good, probably the best send off I've been to.
Yeah.
Talk about his football club and his things he did as a kid and his first job, and he's even making mistakes and messing up things. It was really good. But after Kenny passed, his wife was still there for a little bit, and then she moved in with the daughter and son-in-law. They had like a little wing for her in their house that she moved into. But while she was still there, if I saw her in passing, would have a chat, give her a big hug, and kind of talk about stuff. And one day she knocked on my door, just relatively unusual. She knocked on the door, and I said, "Oh, do you need anything, or is everything okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm okay." But she said, "So this sound a bit strange." I said, "Go for it." She said, "Have you experienced anything strange in your flat the past few days?" And I hadn't. And I said, "No." I said, "Why, have you?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What's happened?" She goes, like, you can still feel Kenny around the flat, which I think is quite sweet. Like, it's quite sad, but it's quite sweet.
Yeah.
Like, she experienced some weird things for a few days, and then it went. I think he was just. It seemed to me like he just wanted to stick around a little bit to make sure everyone was okay, and then okay, cool, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
But she said their son-in-law, for about a month before Kenny passed, he kept asking to borrow Kenny's ladder, like a long extendable ladder he had in his garage. And he kept saying, "Oh yeah, I'll come around this day, come around that day," and he just kept forgetting. So he came round, I think the day before, to you just come pick up the ladder now. So he said, "Yeah, here's the keys to the garage. Help yourself." And he kind of come back. His face was white. I mean, he's a white guy anyway, but like his face was
whiter,
really whiter. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I've seen his garage, and the ladder is mounted on the wall inside. You've got these two like L-shaped brackets that come out of the wall, so you can't hook it onto it. So it's not going anywhere."
Yeah.
He said, when you open the garage door, the ladder lifted off, and it kind of flew onto the floor in front of him, and he jumped back like, "What the hell?" And no, Kenny had a sense of humor, so it's like Kenny saying, "Look there, take the damn ladder.
Take the damn ladder." Yeah.
Wow. But then, like, I was mindful, thinking, I'll be a bit more switched on in my flat, but I didn't feel anything. At all.
That's something that I go ahead. Is there more?
No, but that was that. And she moved.
I think
not seen her since.
Yeah, I think that, and I've thought about this quite a bit. Like you said, you switched on. Like you really you started to focus on, am I feeling anything? Have I seen anything? And I think if we walk around not switched on, I think we miss a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're not, if Kenny's wife hadn't said anything to you and you didn't see anything, like it would have never occurred to you that maybe a manifestation of Kenny was there. But like, but when like someone passes that, or someone that nearby, maybe like you might be more attuned and you might be more, but I think just in general, like going through life, I think some people are more, or they leave that switch on and they like feel things more and notice things more. And maybe they're more open, to whatever is around them. Like that the perception of. I
think that goes back to quite a primal state with like earlier people. I think it's a lot of things go down to survival and just being aware of your environment and what's around. But I
And
think
we've got
also like
our phones, you know, we're paying attention to our phones and what's going
yeah,
on in life, and you know.
yeah. But I'm quite empathic, like
Hmm.
empathetic. So like I can pick up feelings quite.
Hmm.
I think that helped when I was a police officer. Like I pick up things quick.
I can
So
imagine,
like,
yeah.
but do I try to explain it to people? Was like you walk into a room where two people have just had a massive argument,
Hmm.
and you walk in, you can just feel. I mean, you can tell body language,
That
but even
energy
if they're
too.
trying, even if they're like I don't know, like maybe like parents trying to hide it,
Mhm.
like you can tell. Like if you're switched on,
Absolutely.
you can feel the atmosphere, and it's like, Jesus, what's happened here?
Right.
Like you know something has happened.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, like times 10, I think.
Hmm.
So you don't just sense it, but you feel what they feel,
Hmm.
which I guess it makes you quite understanding because like you literally feel almost what they're feeling.
Right.
So yeah, I think it makes you a compassionate person and
Yeah.
makes you like want to be a helper, but it can be a lot sometimes.
It can be overwhelming or shocking sometimes too, you know,
Yeah.
like you don't expect that, but um yeah, and it's
Do
hard
you
to
know what I think?
describe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking. It just came to my head. Have you seen Unbreakable? M
Oh
Night
yeah, of
Shyamalan
course.
film. Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like Bruce Willis's power in that, where he just kind of like, if he just touches people, like he can
Just
see.
you can feel it. Yeah.
It's almost like that's like an ultra empath kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
but he physically feels like the pain and things. I think
Hmm.
it's maybe that's maybe based on that
Hmm.
kind of sense. Good
Yeah.
movie. I like that movie.
Oh yeah, I do too. I loved that,
Yeah.
the idea of that there was someone that
Mm.
was created that can help and has the ability to like feel and help, and sorry, my dog, there must be someone walking by or something. Maybe he don't like the
But
story. He's like, I don't like these stories.
yeah,
No one talking about it. But it's
and
hard
then there's
though,
the opposite.
right? It's hard to
Yeah, there's several
describe
against
to
them.
other people. Like
Yeah.
I think I brought it up in one of my episodes where I working at a really old hospital, and I was changing my scrubs into regular clothes, and it was probably 2 in the morning in this hospital, and I walked into this locker room, and I just had like the most hateful feeling that I'd ever felt
Mm.
before. You know, I mean, nothing was. I mean, no one was hitting me. There was no one in there. It's completely
Mm.
empty. But I just had this intense feeling of just disgust and anger and hatred that was just pushed on me, and I just felt
Mm.
so. I don't even know. I don't think it was afraid. I mean, yeah, I was freaked out. Like, what is this? But just the energy, like the
Yeah.
only thing I could describe is like if you're in a room and you're walking by and your worst enemy, like the kid that hated you for some reason as a kid,
That bullied you.
or
Yeah.
just that kind of like that kind of, I wish I could tear your head off energy, and times
Mm-hmm.
it times 10. That's what I felt in that room. And I'd never really experienced that kind of feeling before. So I changed into my clothes and I got the heck out of there. But it's hard to
I guess
describe
you changed
that.
quickly.
Oh, I changed very quickly, but it's hard to
Yeah.
describe like that empathic feeling. Like you said, when you walk into a room, you can almost
Mm.
feel like the energy, like you feel what happened. Like you can tell, that there's something going on with these two and there's an energy. But it's
Mm.
hard to describe that to other people, and it's not something you can
Yeah.
train. You might be able to open someone up to it, like, kind of, not to sound like a Jedi, but look inward and like feel, not with your hands, but feel like put your energy out there. And what do you feel? Like, do you feel anything coming back to
Yeah.
you? Do you feel any kind of, but it's hard. I mean, that's not something like you could train someone, but just,
No, I
open
think
yourself.
that's something people either have or they don't.
Yes.
But I've, as far back as I can remember, I've always been like
Mhm.
that. If you think about that concept of like something dramatic or violent or something happening, and sensing that, but thinking if that resulting in like a death,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the same thing. It's like that same kind of feeling has been left an imprint on that place or
Right.
something. So the kind of that anger or sadness,
Mm-hmm.
confusion, it can be left there, because I think a lot of hauntings are kind of
Like a
they're
recording.
like, yeah, stuff that like you can't communicate with. I think they call
Mm-hmm.
it like a residual haunting, but like it's just there, kind of like it just goes like a cassette to cassette tape, and in
Mm-hmm.
time it wears out. But so those kind of things, yeah, they can, I guess, scare people, but I don't. They're not things that can harm you.
Right.
I know people that live in houses like that, and they're like, yeah, I'm just get used to it and just live with it.
Yeah. No.
I had a
Nate Barch, the guy that the great
yeah,
artist that
I saw the
paints
next one. Yeah,
the mythic, he was talking about like how he would see manifestations going down the hallway, like the lady in the blue
yeah,
dress,
yeah,
and they realize, okay, she's not going to hurt us. It's just part of this
mm,
home. Like it's just, and I think once you get over that, that initial fear and shock that this is not normal,
yeah,
but it's natural. It's a nature. It's something about nature that we don't
mm,
understand. But we're at peace with it. It's not keeping me up. It's not scaring me. I'm accepting it. That whatever that
mm,
is accepting me. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like you've I think it helped you get that inner peace. But here's my question about, because I've heard about like them saying that, and I've heard that theory about how maybe a structure or a building or a room can
mm,
record that energy. But here's my question to you. So say something traumatic does happen in a room. Say someone
mm,
does die, or has a traumatic, and you walk in 10 years later and you see a person that's wounded or something. Do you think
mm,
that is it just the energy? Do you think it's just a recording, or do you think it's actually that person's soul, or just a part of, what do you think
mm.
that is? Do you think it's their actual soul that's like reliving or just stuck there? Like,
I,
what do you think it is personally? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't
it's
even know
it's
what I think. I
it's
think
a
it's an
good point
energy.
you've raised, because you could easily make a case for either, in
Right.
terms of thinking on one hand, when a body dies, you think that the soul, if you believe in the soul, moves on and it's gone,
Mhm.
and you're left with just a shell of the body. But with like a haunting, like, is that the soul that can't rest? It can't move on.
Mhm.
It's kind of stuck in Groundhog Day.
Mhm.
Um, or is it something else, like something lesser, like just like a little action replay
Right.
of what was there? Um, that would be the better option, because a soul being trapped sounds
That's like
miserable.
hell. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
But I could
almost like
see
a
like,
purgatory.
yeah, like if something happened to me in this room and
Mm,
I just couldn't get over it, like I was wronged so badly and murdered in this room. I just
mm,
can't, like there's something primal about me. Like I can't get over it. I can't leave. I can't go to my, to this next, awareness, because I'm just so upset and angry that I can't leave.
mm,
Like that, I get that. Like I get, whatever it is that they just can't, they can't leave because things are unresolved. I get that. But I think like you were saying, I think there's different I think there's energies
mm.
that, maybe the house or the room records, and I'm blowing a kiss to my wife. And I think that
You know,
there's spirits, because like here, um we're at peace. Like I know that I believe that this place is haunted that I live in,
mm,
but I think it's mischievous. Like I think it's a spirit, and I think that they think it's funny to like knock my figures over. Like it could be the most steady thing, but like I think that this
mm,
mischievous spirit will just knock them over. Any kind of collectible, any kind of it'll move it
That's so
around,
annoying.
or it'll set it down, or like, it could be like the most stable, but
Mm,
there's always going to be one that's knocked over. And it's just a mischievous thing, and I don't take any kind of ill, but I think
mm,
that to me seems like a spirit or a soul, like
yeah.
maybe they've achieved the ability to travel and to go different places, but maybe this is a stop for them. Like they will come back and frequent, and give little signs like, hey, I'm still here, I still I'm present, and aware of things, and here's a reminder, I'm gonna knock something over or hide something or move something around you know
That's a good point. Actually, there was at least one to a manic story.
yeah, let's do it.
Um, an ex girlfriend of mine. This is before I was in the police. I was working in the gym as an instructor, and a bit naughty, but she was one of the members, and I ended up going out for a bit. Um, Bianca, Italian girl, absolutely stunning.
She sounds
But no,
stunning.
yeah, it didn't work out. Um, but her house, at the time, I was living at my parents' old house, which is a Victorian townhouse, like
Mhm.
1890 or something, 1895. Incredible house, and no weird feelings whatsoever. Like me and my mum always talk, saying that we always think like happy families must have lived here because this is a good energy. There's like a basement, cellar. There's like a loft. Every inch of it fully comfortable. Even as
Mhm.
a kid, I moved there and I was like, I was how old was I? Like 10 or something, and it was fine. It was fine. So, but her house is, I think, at least maybe like 100 years older. Um, not too a few, I don't know, about 20 minutes away from half an hour away from me. So I've been to her house a few times, and then she started telling me some things about her house. She lived there with her mum and older sister. There's no dead in the picture, um, and they were very used to like okay with the fact that they've got ghosts in the house. It
Mhm.
was haunted. So I was like, ooh, what,
Yeah,
what's
tell me
going on in the
more.
house? And they knew the name. It was a woman who used to live there, and she's buried in an unmarked grave down the road.
Okay.
Um, I think she lived there on her own for quite some time. I can't remember the name. Something like Valerie. I can't remember what it was. Um, and Bianca said to me, obviously when they first moved there, they were kind of freaked out, but and then they got used to it.
Mhm.
Um, I said, well, what happens? So one example, she was at home in the bath, and her mum, her sister was at work or something, and her mum had gone out to the shops, so she had the place to herself. So she's in the bath, and she heard what she believed was her mum call her name out, Bianca, and she's like, "I'm in the bath." She probably thought she didn't hear her come in, and she heard the name again louder, like Bianca calling from outside, and she's like, "For Christ's sake!" So she's like, gets out, puts a thing on, robe on, goes outside, and she's just like, "I'm in the bath." She's screaming downstairs. Then she hears the door open and her mum come home, and she's like, she's kind of walks down saying, "If you just come in," she's go, "Yeah, yeah, can you help me with the shopping?" And she just confirmed where her sister was. She go, "Yeah, she's not back from work for a good few hours." So she was like, "I just heard someone call my name out,"
Mhm.
and then the mum was like, um, "Yeah, like she's had some experiences too."
Mhm.
Um, and I says, "Anything else?" She said, um, "This spirit is obsessed with their jewelry, so
Really?
always like certain items of jewelry would
Mhm.
kept would kept going missing, and then they were going like getting clean towels and things from the airing cupboard, and like there'd be stacks right near the bottom. Did she'd find like a ring or a necklace or something, and then shit would just kept getting moved and put in really weird places. And I've heard that kind of thing happen before.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh yeah, I think she must be like interested with, being a woman maybe, but interested with the jewelry." She gets moving around. And then she said once they were in the kitchen, and from her sister was in the dining room, and from the dining room, she saw this male figure, easily about 6'5", carrying a serving tray, walk straight through the dining room, through the wall, into the kitchen and vanish. And you're fine living there. She's like, well, we've been here for years now, and it's not hurt us.
They're kind of at peace with.
Yeah, so sometimes they talk to her, like if things move around, she's like, oh, stop that, behave yourself, and all the rest of it. It's kind of treated like a member of the family, I guess. But so I was curious whether I was ever gonna find anything there. So one time, because quite often, like I'd pop by on the way back from work or from like training or something. So I'd pop by, spend a few hours in the evening, and then go home. And I was around one time, and the layout of a house, there's a few steps up, front door. As you open the door, there's a staircase that goes up ahead of you, and then to the side there's like you've got like a living room, and it leads all the way back to the kitchen at the back of the house. So we were on the doorstep. I was leaving, the door was open, so we're having a little hug. So I'm facing in towards the house, she's facing out. And I hear creaking come down the stairs. And I didn't pay too much attention because my house, I was living with my parents, made a lot of noise at night time.
Right.
Especially if it's
why is it always night? Why?
Yeah, I think
it's always at night. It's noisier.
It's when the house, especially wood cools
like
down
settles,
and contracts.
Yeah.
So it kind of like shrinks a bit, and it kind of expands with the heat. So especially if you've got a lot of wood in the house, that will happen. And that entire house was floor ceiling with Victorian wood. So I know what it's like. And she's hugging me, and she said, "Did you hear that?" I went, "Yeah, I heard that." And she goes, "Did you see anything?" I said, "No, I think it's just a house. Like my house makes all kind of noise." And she's like, "Okay." So a few weeks later, same situation. I've been around for a few hours, and we were kind of having a little snuggle on the front door, and then I heard the creaks on the stairs, and I counted.
Oh.
And it was literally every single step. And the lights were on, the hallway's bright, and I'm looking, and I can just hear this like creak, 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 creak down all the way down to the bottom, and then if someone's standing on the same spot but kind of shifting their body weight around,
yeah,
you hear like the floorboards creaking. It was literally that about 3 feet behind her, and I could feel her grab me a bit tighter, and she goes, "You heard that?" I went, "That was every single step."
Right.
And she goes, "Can you hear that?" I says, "Yeah, there's nothing behind you. I can't see anything, but I can hear it." And it was like we could both kind of feel something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yeah, better make a move." So she's like, "What the hell? You gonna leave me?"
Yeah, time to go.
Like,
I got a busy day tomorrow.
Early start in the morning. Like I left it to it. I said, "You're used to it."
Right, yeah,
She thought I might have seen some little old lady or something at the stairs, but I didn't see anything. But it was definitely weird. Like I thought about that for a long time afterwards. That wasn't why we split. We split for other reasons.
Right. It stays with you though.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a cost for the energy, like for it to be able to move stuff, like Kenny picking up that ladder, or the things here, the figurines getting pushed over here, or things being hid, like the rings. Like I wonder if it's like, how often can they do that? Can they do it all the time? Does it take them energy? Does it take effort for their presence to be felt walking? Like for the creaking. So think about it, like the creaking down the stairs, there has to be some kind of mass for the wood
Yeah,
to
has to be weight
actually
to it.
react sound. Like for the wood, I mean, there has to be weight on that stair.
Mm.
Because like when I was a kid, I lived in this house that was very haunted. I could hear the footsteps down the hallway on the soft carpet, and I could see the shadow from the hallway light. I could see the shadow of a person standing in front of my door. The door was closed, the light was on, you know, in the hallway. I could see there was someone standing at my doorway. There's no one in the house, but
Yeah,
there's
that's a real
something of
entity.
that I'll never forget. I was a kid, scared the crap out of me. But
Mm.
my thinking is that there's some kind of mass that these manifestations can, like, you know, like something that's an energy shouldn't be able to grasp rungs of a ladder and
Mm.
lift from the hooks and toss. Like it's going to take energy to be able to
Mm.
grasp, to make your whatever you are, to make part of you solid enough to be
Mm.
able to pick up something, to pick up a ring, to put weight on a stairway, to cause the sound that you heard. Like that's
Yeah.
gotta be, there's gotta be something almost scientific about that, that you should be able to, like, I don't know. Like there's I think there's so much more to science
Mm.
that we don't know. And I
Yeah.
brought this up before, but I think even spirits and ghosts can be quantified. Not saying that they're not ghosts. I'm saying they are ghosts. They are
Mm.
spirits and strange things and energies, but I think there's a way to explain them maybe someday.
Mm.
You know, once we have more understanding about, you know, our soul and our energy or whatever. But I mean, there's got to be something to that. Like it's mass. Like somehow whatever it was on that stairway was able to shift
Yeah.
and to cause weight on those stairs to make that sound, because
I mean,
the
you
the
hear
stair,
stories about people being pushed and hit and things
yes,
being
it's,
thrown and
yeah,
things.
like
I think
nudged
it
and
takes a
stuff.
lot. I think it takes a lot of energy because you hear when like people's camera batteries
Yes,
fully charged, bangs goes flat, or if they're
yeah,
recording, battery's gone. But it's like it's drawing energy from wherever it can.
yeah,
There's also theory because the stone tape theory is the whole thing about things being trapped, like an incident being kind of like stuck to an area kind of thing. But
mhm,
apparently, if there's running water nearby, and or I think limestone rock can be a conductor for that. And there's some rocks that contain silica.
mhm.
Apparently, silica is the material that's used in cassette tapes. That's why it's called a stone
Mm.
tape theory.
See,
So, like, so there might be
science.
something in that where, like, it kind
Yeah,
of like because you're able to like captures things on that
right.
material.
Yeah.
That they think that maybe areas of high limestone or
Mhm,
water, you can get a lot of energy from water. Um, maybe that's something to do with it, or it draws electrical energy from around, hence
mhm.
appliances coming down and
Right.
lights dimming and things. But I think it kind of, I know it's not a serious film, but Ghost with Patrick Swayze
Mhm,
when he's in the tube
mhm.
and there's that get off my train, that guy,
Yeah,
and he kind
yeah.
of teaches him to kind of
Right,
click the coke in. But it's like
right,
he's got something to learn to kind of use to
right.
kind of get that energy.
I
It's almost
mean,
like
we
that,
don't
I
know.
guess.
We don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it could be something that, you know, say I die and I choose to stay because I want to watch my wife, you know, get old, and, you know, I'm not ready
Mm,
to leave her. I want to keep an eye on her. You know, maybe I can
yeah.
learn to manifest and leave little things. Like my wife is very, I don't know about superstitious, but she's kind of country in that
Mm,
it's okay. Like she says that there's these little pins or or beads or something that family members like her grandma or her mom will leave for her. And like for her, it gives comfort. Like, my mom left me this, like, as a sign that she's still, and like, so I think there's something to that. And I think, and I've talked about it before on the show, that I think there's so much more that we don't know. Like there's a quantified, there's a way, there's a theory, or there's a grand science to things, but it's beyond our grasp right now. Like we can't puzzle it all out. We can only kind of like, like shine light on what's out there. Like we're still kind of monkeys trying to figure things out. But like we still are curious and still want to know and learn, but maybe it's beyond our understanding right now.
I think some of the problem with that is the established scientists that work on a lot of things. I get the feeling I've got no interest in looking into this.
Right.
So the people, like, I guess a bit like us, that are interested, that come up with theories, just get shot down straight away, thinking, "Oh, that's just nonsense." You're not a scientist. But the people that have the scientific backgrounds and knowledge and qualifications and PhDs, then they're not looking into that stuff. They're looking at other things that are more practical in day-to-day living and progressing, technology and things. But they're not looking into these things. So that's why there's a big hole in that part of science.
I agree.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Or it's shunned, like, if you were suspected of magic, what would happen to you back then? They would kill you,
Yeah.
So it's like you're shunned.
There's a lot of hauntings from witches here as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty in, like, where is it in the States?
Oh, like Salem and
Salem, upper East Coast, isn't it?
Yeah. But
that's grim. That's very grim.
I think there's people like us that question, and we're open to, I want to understand things. I don't think I ever will, probably not till we're dead. Me and you will be like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Like,
like, okay. We'll give each other ghost, daps, like, yay, we got to figure it out now. Yeah, we got to figure it out now. But I think that, like you said,
we definitely will hang out in the afterlife, man.
For sure. But I think we just have to be more open-minded. Like there doesn't have to be a separation between science and magic and religion. Like there can be like something way more, way more complex and bigger than our brains. Like we can figure out this, but because there's no explanation for this, it must not be real. And that to me just seems so close-minded, But that's just me.
This is like a classic ghost story. Actually, my dad told me this one. I told you last time my dad was a little bit sheepish, but the more I kind of pressed at him, the more he's like, well, there were a few things. Then he kind of
lay them on me.
It was awesome. But this was back at the hospital, the psychiatric hospital my mum and dad worked at, where they met. But my dad had been there for a bit, and I think he was charge nurse, so one of his nurses in the ward, this guy, had recently got engaged, and he'd moved into a house over the road from the hospital. So no excuse for being late. it was very close by, but yeah, just very close to the hospital. It's like a row of terraced houses, quite old. He moved into one of those. So it's him, his wife, and a kid who's, I want to say, like, he's older than the top, maybe like 5-6 years old. So dad's working shifts with my dad, and dad's like, how's it all going and stuff, and he was like, yeah, it's going good. But a few times the husband would come home and say hi to his son, and he's like, how was your day and things, and he's like, I was playing upstairs with the man, and he's like, everyone's got like imaginary friend and things, and then this happened a few times, and the first few times, the parents just thought, it's, you know, I mean, I apparently had an imaginary friend. I don't remember, but apparently I did. I think a lot of kids do.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows what they actually are? You know what I mean? But apparently I had one. So they thought it was just that, and then the kid kept persisting with it. So the dad said, like, "Oh, you saying you're playing with the old man?" He says, "Where?" He says, "Oh, up in the attic." They had like an attic. It wasn't being used, but it was unlocked. And he said, "What is he like?" He goes, "Oh, he's an old man, but he can't stand up, and he likes to play with me." So the dad's getting a bit concerned at this point. He knows there's no one there, so he knows no one's messing with his kid, like interfering with his child. But he's thinking, well, why is my kid keep saying this stuff?
Yeah.
So he started. Both parents started to get a little bit concerned, thinking, maybe does a kid need help or something. So they talked to the neighbour next door. There's a very elderly couple who'd been there for a long time. So he made small talk with them one day. They're like, "Oh, how are you? How are you getting on with your family? And are you happy here? And do you need any help or anything?" We all moved in, we're all good. And they said, have you lived here for a while? They've been here for like, I don't know, 50, 60 years or something. And they said, do you know many of the people that have lived here? Or the people? And he goes, "Oh, there was an old man who lived here who was disabled. He was in a wheelchair, and he stayed in the attic upstairs, and that apparently he died there." So I'm getting chills now, but it's actually cooled me down. But
right.
He told his wife, and they both freaked out, saying, "Shit, like I think our son's playing with a ghost." Because he asked the kid again. He goes, "Yeah, he's in like a chair with wheels up in the attic, but he's like, but he's a really nice man." So I don't know how that ended for them.
Yeah.
But
and then what do you do?
Eyes,
what do you do on that case? I mean,
like it sounds like the old man was genuinely fond of the boy.
Yeah.
And there was no ill intent or anything. He seemed like he was quite
kind of sweet,
man.
Yeah, it's kind of a sweet thing, but
it's like, oh, can you babysit while I go on date night?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I made you and Granddad some snacks, you guys help yourself and we'll be back.
But, I've seen a lot of movies like that. The Changeling and the Woman in Black, this very similar kind of thing. But yeah, I mean that's definitely one of those stories for sure.
Yeah.
And these are psychiatric nurses, and especially these people of science, really. So
right,
it kind of sometimes holds a bit more weight with people like that saying, "Yeah, these experiences happened. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it happened." So
yeah,
I tend to listen to those a lot more.
And I think if you really ask people, oh, sorry, my dog she's chewing hard on a bone over here. If you really ask people, like your parents or grandparents, they will come up with things, like, oh, you know what? I remember when I was younger, I this or I that, or I saw this, or I remember that. And those,
especially those generations.
Especially what?
More so those generations.
Yes. And I think
lost of it now, but
there's something there. Yeah, there's something there. And I remember you talking about that kind of when you were, when you were a kid, that, your family members were more attuned maybe to that kind of thing. But I don't know. I think if you really dig in and ask people, there's always those kind of stories, and it's like, what do you do? Like, what is your reaction? Do you stop your child from going in the attic anymore? And like, will that child remember? Would they be able to describe, when they're older? Oh yeah, I used to play with an old guy. I don't know. It's an interesting world.
You hope it doesn't have a negative effect. You hope it has like a positive
effect.
In kind of
if it's positive.
you and me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would have been terrified, but if the child wasn't scared, then I guess it was a positive. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've heard that, like my ex-wife, she got woke up by a ghost saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
make sure you turn off that light, honey." And and had the cap and there was nothing
Yeah.
negative. There was no ill, and it was a sweet
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
It sounded
so,
caring, place of care,
yeah.
for sure.
So I think with that, I think those are spirits. I think those are, spirits. Maybe, they're not ready to move on. Maybe they're still awake and still some vitality, and they are pleased to see a young boy and be able to interact and feel human again. And I mean, I don't see that as a negative, and I don't see that as hell on earth or purgatory. If a spirit is maybe at peace, and obviously playing with the boy must have given that spirit some kind of joy, because it was a positive experience for the boy. The boy wasn't scared. The boy didn't run, as far as I know, didn't run out and scream and never go back. So it was a positive thing for that person. So I think there's a lesson there. I think there's some I don't know, a positive thing.
Yeah, I take the positive from that. There's only one strange thing that's happened to me in my flat that I live in now. I've been here for 18 years. Not super crazy, just kind of. I mean, you could look at it as a coincidence or anything, but I kind of look at it a certain way. My grandma on my mum's side, so the Chinese side, passed away 5-6 years ago now, I think, maybe 5-6 years ago. She was living in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, with my mum's youngest sister. She was very, very ill. She just wanted to go. She was miserable. She's like, why am I still here? Most of the time, she didn't know who any of us were. She was bedridden, couldn't do anything for herself. So I did get to see her earlier that year, with a one-day visit with my mum. So I spent a bit of time with my grandma, and she always used to say I was her favourite out of all of the all the grandkids, which I kind of rubbed my sister's face in a bit. But she was like, oh, you're such a good boy, you're my favourite and things. So I had a very good relationship with her. I was very close with her, and as a family, we'd seen her go through a bit of a tough time. She got thrown out by my mum's older brother. So she was living with him and his family for a while, but the wife, for some reason, didn't get on with her, and then basically said, like, it's either her or me. So it's like, throw her out. So they literally threw her out onto the street.
Wow.
And bear in mind, she spoke no English. Somehow made her way from where she was to like my parents' house. And me and my sister were quite small. And I just remember her turning up at the front door crying. And then my mum and dad kind of shooing us in our bedrooms quickly. And then a little while later, they said to us, your grandma's going to be living with us for a while. And that was in the old house before the big scary Victorian one. So she lived with us for quite some time. So obviously we were very close. We used to watch TV together and, hang out and go places and things. But when I knew she was ill, and we were thinking maybe at some point in the year she might go. And to be fair, like, we were all hoping she would, because she wanted to.
Right.
And she was just in pain and miserable. So we're thinking it's better she goes sooner than later, because she's just suffering.
Right.
So the past year has not been great, but in general, my sleep pattern is quite regimented. Like I tend to get to bed. Sorry. I tend to get to bed relatively early, and I'm up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Whatever I'm doing, I'm up at 7. That's kind of my routine. I'm not one of those people that have to get up to go to the toilet. Once I go to the loo, I go to bed, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
tonight
That's
I'll get
it.
them up and get them. Like
Yeah.
I never have to get up. And I woke up at 5 a.m, like just bang, bolt upright in my bed, wide awake. I look around thinking, nothing woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was having a weird dream or anything. I just woke up and looked around the room, and I was like, why am I awake? Looked at the clock. I'm like, oh my god, it's 5 o'clock. I've still got a few hours left. And I thought whatever. So it took me about 5 minutes to get back to sleep again, and I didn't think much more of it. Not long after 7, because my mum knows what time I get up. My mum rang me with the news that my grandma had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh wow. I said, this just happened. She goes, no, it happened a bit earlier, but I didn't want to wake you up.
Wow.
And I asked my mum, what time? She says 5 o'clock. She passed at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And her sister rang shortly afterwards. And she was the first one, because my mum's the eldest of the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first one that she rang, saying, our mum's just gone. And I kind of felt a bit weird.
Yeah.
I said, Mum, I woke up, bolt upright in my bed at 5 a.m. I'd never do that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
My mum said, did you feel anything? I said, no. I said, did you see anything? I said, then I looked around the room, and it was fine. But I was wide awake. It took me a few minutes to get back to sleep. And then I was gone again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both just kind of went quiet. And I was like, that's kind of strange. And she's like, yeah. And then my mum said, you were really close. And she did really like you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was her favorite.
Yeah. Right.
But,
yeah, maybe she touched you, as she was leaving. She gave one,
I mean, it'd be quite nice to think that she did, because even though I didn't feel anything, because I'm quite a very heavy sleeper. So
yeah.
she might woke me, but it might take me a second to think,
hey,
what was that?
Feizal, wake up.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I keep that with me as quite like a nice thing. Like quite a warm feeling that I quite like that.
Yeah, that's not scary at all. That's nice. No. That's a good positive thing,
Like I had quite a nice experience about almost a month after that. I was kind of up and down. Like I had good days, bad days. But some days thinking, when she was ill, maybe I could have spent more time with her.
Yeah, right.
And then thinking back when I was a little kid, and a lot of memories. You do that, you reminisce. So I had a few days where I struggled a bit, a few tough days. And one day like that, as I do, I like getting out and about outdoors. And this is way before I had the figures. So I grabbed my camera. Grabbed the camera and went out to. At the time, I was exploring a lot of churchyards, old churches. Not because I'm religious, because I love old buildings and the history and architecture.
Yeah.
Photographing, old stone masonry things. So I saw a church in a nice area in Surrey. So popped to this area, there's woodland around, a little woodland walk, then parked up and this little lane, just houses on one side and like a horse stables on one side. You go to the end of this lane and there's this tiny little church. I saw there was an enormous yew tree, my favorite kind of tree. So I thought, yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out, get some photos.
Mm-hmm.
But as I parked up the car, there's a little black cat. It was like, I don't know, like maybe like an adolescent age. It wasn't a baby, but it wasn't fully grown.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This little cat just kind of walked out and just stared at me. So I always talk to animals. I'm like, what's up?
I do that too. I do that. Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah. So I'm like, what's up? I started walking, and then this cat was walking behind me all the way. I'm like, fair one. I don't know. You're probably the same, but like I instantly connect with animals. Like they just get me.
Yeah.
So I always make friends with cats, dogs, horses.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like all kinds of things. Like I think you just sense if you're like good vibes. They're like they're comfortable with you. And I love animals. I'm genuinely feel comfortable around them. So I thought, okay, cool. And then it kind of vanished. So I did my thing, photographed outside of the church, and then got some shots of this amazing tree. And I think because I was literally stood in the middle of a churchyard, and it kind of got real again, that, that my nan passing and things. And I felt kind of low. And then the black cat walked in. He walked straight up to me and just started doing like a figure of 8 around my legs. So I kind of crouched down. Like I literally played with this cat for about 25 minutes. I was literally I was lying on the floor playing with this cat, and it genuinely comforted me. Like it was as if like, it's what I needed.
Yeah.
And I got some good photos of this cat with these beautiful green eyes, black cat, and it really did the trick. And it really gave me a boost, and I felt really happy.
Yeah.
And then when it was time to, when I thought it was time to head back home, it walked with me back out of the churchyard, and just as I got to the lane to walk back, it stopped, and I walked along the lane and looked back, and the cat was just sat there looking at me the whole time. And then I saw like a couple walking towards me, so I kind of just nodded to them, and then I thought to myself, can they see the cat? Like, is the cat even there?
Is that my?
I didn't ask them.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if they. I'm pretty sure it was the real cat. But I that's quite a nice feeling. A nice memory that's always stuck with me.
Right.
That I talked to my mum, and she said and some other friends, and they said maybe it was like your nan checking up on you. She saw that you were hurting, and she comforted you.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, there's many ways you can look at it, and some of them are quite skeptical. But like, I kind of took that on board as like kind of a nice thing, really.
Right. No,
even if it was just the cat, and it would just happen at the right time, it's what I needed to be comforted by a fuzzy little animal.
Yeah. No, I do that too. Sometimes I'll look at cats and I feel like they know way more than, we give them credit for. Like they've got all the secrets and they, but no, I don't know. I'm with you on that. I notice and believe little things like that. I feel like there's, anything is possible. We don't know. We don't know the rules. We don't know how things work. We just have a basic understanding. So yeah, I mean, I love that.
I tell you another quite nice one. This was at my parents' old house, the Victorian townhouse. It was a 6-bedroom, 3-story Victorian townhouse. The walls were like sort of 2.5 foot thick, high ceilings, beautiful house. They even had like a coal chute. It was sealed up, where they would deliver coal down straight into the cellar for the coal burning fires and things. It still had like lead wiring in the walls, and had like the gas outlets for the gas lights and things. So interesting house, very interesting.
That would be neat.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, neat house. So when we were there, my parents opened it up as a residential care home for elderly psychiatric patients from the hospital they worked at. So some that didn't have anywhere to go, didn't have any family, so it was a big family discussion because they didn't take anyone high risk. So we had, from the age of 12 up until my teens, like we've just lived with patients in the house. So I had a very different life growing up. So the ground floor obviously had like our kitchen, living room, front room, all of our stuff. The second floor, they had all of their bedrooms, a bathroom, and their living area. And then the top floor was our bedrooms. So they only were like kind of allowed to kind of stay on the middle floor. So I tell you how regimented I was. Like 7:30 breakfast, 11 o'clock tea. One of them had coffee. 12:30 lunch, 2 o'clock tea, 4 o'clock tea and cakes, and then supper at 6:30, and then one of them had cocoa at 9 with their medication. So like, there always had to be one of us at home. Yeah, so like make sure they took the medication, and cooking the food and making tea. So
Mhm.
it's kind of good because it kind of, from a young age, you got me and my sister kind of used to like
Right.
cooking and preparing things and helping out in the house for the patients. And it's kind of like having like some kind of old eccentric grandmas, like extra grandmas in the house.
Right.
So we had some come and go. We had Dot, which was a bit nasty. Eva, which was nice. Kathy, Lily, my favourite. But Lily Green was my favourite. She barely spoke a word. She'd been institutionalized since she was 16 years old, and she was like in her 80s. So it's all she's known her entire life is being in a hospital, in a ward.
Wow.
So she hasn't really had any kind of life at all. And so she was one of the third or fourth patient that moved into the house. And she used to smoke a little bit, had a hearing aid. She looked like a cartoon. This sounds really nasty, but if you cross Mr. Burns from The Simpsons with like a fairy tale witch,
Yeah.
but not nasty, like proper like nose and the chin,
Yeah.
and all like hunched over,
That
like
would be
her
Lily.
body was like a cashew nut. It was like all bent over.
I could see
So
that. Yeah.
along. Yeah. But she was. I really liked her. She really liked me.
Yeah.
I would take her on holiday,
Mhm.
like around the country. Like my dad would borrow like a minibus,
Mhm.
and like she'd only let me hold her hand, to help her on and help her off and help into the room and things. She's like, no, him. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like
Yeah.
her fancy man.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of time for Lily. She was really cool.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, she hardly ever spoke. She didn't speak to the other patients. She just sat, watched TV,
Mhm.
had a cigarette every now and again, and just was kind of stuck in her own head.
Mhm.
But once my mum was walking up the stairs and she heard singing, she thought, oh, maybe it's the radio. And she kind of checked the other rooms, and like the other patients were in their rooms. She kind of peeked around the living room, and it was Lily. And Lily was singing Land of Hope and Glory,
Really?
like quite a patriotic song. And my mum was
Yeah.
like, she couldn't believe it. She told me, she's like, just bloody heard Lily singing. I was like, no way. So I've never heard it. And she's like, I never heard her sing before. But it was quite kind of cool kind of thing. So years later, she passed away.
Mhm.
She passed away in the house. Me and we were away on holiday. So a few times we went to go on holiday as a family. My mum asked one of the nurses, our close friends on the ward, whether they could like house sit and like
Right.
care for the patients. And that's what we did. And then I think one time my parents went away and I was home alone, and one of the patients was in hospital when they died. So I had to deal with that.
Oh
Which
no.
kind of made you grow up a little bit. I got a phone call from hospital saying, "Yeah, Eva's
Right.
gone." And I'm like, "Shit!" So I kind of rung on one of my uncles, and he kind of helped out. And then the other time we were all away, and then we got back, and she was like, "Yeah, Lily Green passed away." And I was heartbroken because I really liked her. No,
Yeah.
not that I could talk to her much, but she was like, "This is really cool."
Yeah.
So it was sad, and that was all done and kind of thing. But she was happy when she was with us because she had like the sound of like, I guess, me and my sister goofing about, laughing, and
Right.
we can hear was like even our neighbours. All we could ever hear was like laughing and stuff, and you messing around. But they liked it because it's like
Yeah.
a happy house.
Yeah.
But my mum said once, quite a while after Lily passed away, she heard Lily singing, and it was Land of Hope and Glory.
Wow.
So she went into the living room again, and there was literally no one in there. Like the other patients were in their rooms. The radio was off, TV was off, everything was off. But because she stood outside the door for a bit to listen, and she heard Lily singing the song again. I think she only heard it that one time, and then never again. And then my mum said to me, she says, she said Lily was happy here. Like she was happy. This is like the only real home she's ever known.
Yeah.
So I think she kind of like maybe stuck around for a little bit, or maybe visited now and again. But that's like a nice one.
Yeah, for sure. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Lily
that.
Green.
Lily Green.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be. Yeah, it doesn't all have to be scary. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be terrifying. It could be sweet. It could be, friendly.
But then, even if people are that way inclined, where they scare easy, if they had that same experience, that might have scared the shit out of them.
Right.
Oh my God, I heard singing, but no one was there. Yeah. But if you actually think about it, there's nothing to be scared about. It's actually quite sweet.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
That's what I take from that anyway.
Yeah, I like that. It's a nice story.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've got one other, which is quite a historical one. Which
all right, you might last one for the night. Let's do it.
Last one. There's a castle on my original policing area called Rochester Castle. Have you heard of a film called Ironclad?
Yeah.
Yeah, with I think Paul Giamatti plays King John. He's like a really horrible king.
Yeah.
That's Rochester Castle. So film was about the siege of Rochester Castle. So I'd not long had my camera and got a English Heritage membership, so you can get free entry to all these historical places. So I visited Rochester Castle for my first time. So I was the first one there. Opens at 10 in the morning. I got there I was there like 9:45, and I was first one indoors, and I couldn't wait to check the place out. And it's one of the best preserved castles of that style in the country. But all of the central floors have gone, so it's just kind of like a big box, and the stairs go up, and you can go all the way to the roof and get an amazing view from the top. But when you get to the top, you look down, and there's literally you can see all the way down to the bottom. It's a hell of a drop. It's not survivable.
Right.
So I had the whole place to myself for the first bit I was there, taking my photos, being all artistic and stuff. And then I got to one corner of the castle, and it's like a dead end, like an archway which is bricked up. You see, it's like the kind of exterior wall of the castle. And I walked into this area, and like that, the atmosphere absolutely changed. And like I've never felt, even that time I got pulled in the cemetery, it was worse than that. I was absolutely terrified. It was broad daylight. And then I just felt like everything closed around me. And I felt like I was surrounded by like people just literally staring at me. Whoa. I couldn't see anything, but that's the energy I felt. And I literally kind of shrunk down and just thought, Jesus Christ. And I looked around myself. I couldn't see anything, but I just felt really like I wasn't welcome at all.
Yes.
I shouldn't be there.
Yes. That's how I felt in that hospital.
Like, yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. So I moved my ass.
You're like,
from there,
out of here, I'm gone.
Went back to the stairs, turned around, looked, and I was like, "There's nothing there."
Yeah.
There's no. It was bare. There's no furniture. There's literally just a bare piece of like nothing. And I was like, "Whoa! I've never felt that kind of fear before."
Yeah.
And all of my skin tingled and like electric. And I thought, okay, I'm going to come back to that. I've got to go past that on the way back down anyway. So I carried on the rest of the castle, did the whole thing to the top. On the way back down, I stopped off again. Nothing. Didn't feel a thing. Stood there with my back against the wall and just relaxed. As I looked around, there's nothing. It's just like any other part of the castle.
Right.
So I thought, okay, something scared the hell out of me. But I couldn't pinpoint what it was. But then whenever I go to a historical place, I read up the basics, but I don't want to read too much because there's always like information boards around, and I like to read up when I'm there. So and when I come home, I like to read up even more, do like a proper deep dive, and I need to know everything I can. I think that's the autistic side of me. Like I need that information. I get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So like I got home and I read up on it, and I read up about the siege of Rochester Castle by King John, and it made sense because on that castle, it's a Norman style castle, so like very square, big block square, and each corner had like a circular turret. There's like circle, straight. No, a square tower, but one corner was circular, which is apparently that corner had been destroyed and was rebuilt in a newer style. And the newer style was of a round tower as opposed to a square. So if you get like cannonballs hit with a corner, you just break the corner off, destroy it. But with a round shape, you can kind of skim off easier, do less damage. So that's why after that period, all castle towers and everything was.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So one of those geeky facts that I absolutely love. And you see it in Ironclad because the noblemen who are standing their grounds trying to, because King John basically wants to take over, and that's the whole birth of the Magna Carta and all the rest of it. He's basically a piece of shit king that wanted to do his own thing. He's a little bit of a chump, kind of like a bit of a body just want to do his own thing, and everything has to do with what he said. But in that siege, he got his men to dig a tunnel deep underground all the way to the foundations of the corner of the castle. Then he got his men to raid local. This is disgusting. He got to raid local farms, steal a whole bunch of pigs. This is people's livelihood. This is, no, the king demands your pigs. Took all of their pigs, got them to go down this tunnel, block them in, and then set them on fire because fat burns at such a high temperature. It's like an accelerant. So like that created so much more of like a hot fire. It destroyed the foundations and collapsed that corner of the castle, which allowed his men to go in. So when I pinpointed where I felt weird, it was the corner that was destroyed. So that corner that was rebuilt, that's the corner I was in when I felt that weird feeling. So I thought to myself, I mean, people probably were no doubt in that when it collapsed and went down. And if that's where they came in, the first people they found would have been slaughtered. So I'm thinking maybe there's a lot of bad feelings in that particular
anger
corner.
And
but that's my only experience in like a medieval setting. And I'll go to a lot of them, but it's quite cool to actually have kind of a weird experience in one.
Because I mean that's almost like a direct. I mean, people from another era, another time, connected with you strong enough for you to feel it and experience it. You know, like that. That's crazy. That's historic too. That's
because if you look at that through skeptical eyes and think, oh, you know, maybe you knew that subconsciously and you went. How the hell? Like when you're in the castle, you don't know what corner you're in. You just look out the window. Like it's the first time I've ever been there. And I didn't feel anything weird on any other square inch of the entire castle.
You didn't know the history yet either.
No, I didn't know about the reconstruct that side. I did wonder when I photographed the exterior, thinking, why is that side round and the others aren't? I thought I didn't think much more of it until I read up on it. I think that's why I read up on it, to think, why is it different? And that's when I found out. I thought, oh shit, that was destroyed and rebuilt. And that's and I worked it out. That's where I was. So interesting for sure.
So you didn't see anything. You just got up there and you felt like this intense, like, you know, you don't belong here. You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, you're from the future, man. Go back.
Right. Yeah.
but from the stairs looking into that area, it looked normal. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, that looks weird. I was like, okay, cool, just another part. I walked in. Only when I walked to that corner, then everything happened and it felt weird.
Yeah.
And then it was gone
Wow.
when I left. But there's no reason why that would happen. It was a perfectly nice day. I was
I just
perfectly
wonder.
happy and fine.
Yeah. I wonder if that's happened to
Yeah.
other people that have gone up there.
I'm curious. I'm curious
Hmm.
because apparently, Charles Dickens, um, over the centuries, people have seen his ghost on the entrance to the castle. Because apparently he spent a lot of time there. He used to like visiting that place quite a lot.
Really?
And Charles Dickens has got a lot of history around my old policing area because that's where a lot
Hmm.
of his writing was done.
Yeah.
So there's an entire housing estate called the Dickens Estate
Uh-huh.
because of it's nearby where he had a house where he
Yeah.
went and did a lot of writing.
Wow.
It's not a nice place.
Yeah.
It's a nice name, Dickens Estate, but it's full of
Right.
idiots.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of interesting history there. A lot of interesting history. We love it.
Your whole country. I mean,
I am spoiled. I am
I don't
spoiled.
blame you. I mean, I don't blame you. I would definitely be visiting all the castles and ruins and old
If you ever came
cemeteries.
here, we'd gladly take you everywhere cool, man. We'd love to.
It's happening. It's happening, man. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. Before I get too old to climb them stairs, I'm coming. I'll be there.
Yeah, we've had a few people said that. I think Cincy John would love to come over. Like
Yeah.
Trevor Williams would love to come over. Nate Strong wants to come over. I said, look, guys, come.
Yeah.
Me and Elijah will team up and
That would be awesome.
work out the whole inventory and take it to like dungeons and castles and
Oh, I would love that.
and things.
I would love
We
that.
should take
Just to
some
be
of the
around.
oldest pubs in England.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, just to be around that kind of rich history. I would love that.
Yeah, you'd feel like you're in The Witcher or something.
Right? Call me Geralt. That would be awesome. Man, I appreciate you coming back, dude. I always enjoy talking to you. And I love talking about, speculating and talking about, the possibilities, not just the stories. I love the stories, but I also love talking about, just someone that's open-minded, someone that's, there's so much possibility. There's so many things like the world is an amazing place that we just don't quite completely understand, but there's so much out there and just open your eyes and feel, and it's nice to have a friend like you that has that empathic feeling and you open yourself up when you go to places and you feel, and that's awesome, man, because I think you experience a lot more when you have that ability.
It definitely makes life more interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that more, because I think, like you said, it definitely makes life more interesting. But I think for me, like, I have to like turn it on, because I was noticing I drive a lot, like through the countrysides, and when I'm really attuned, I can feel like, okay, that grove of trees, like that forest over there, there's something there. Or this house, as I'm going through a town, if I really am attuned, if I really wake up, that I'll be like, that house is haunted, that house is haunted, that house is haunted. Like I can feel like where there's something there, there's some kind of energy, I can feel that. But it goes to sleep if I don't like think about it or focus on it. And I feel like you're probably more attuned than I am to feeling things.
I think I try to keep things. I think because I've grown up, I think a lot of us have grown up around facts and science-based knowledge through school and things, and a lot of me is that. I'm kind of like, I'm torn two ways. Like, I love the stories from the past, mythology and history and things, but then I'm also got the factual side, and obviously
Right.
being an ex-cop, I have the kind of like evidence-based thought process.
Analytical and yeah.
Yeah, which is good. So it's good because I can use that to kind of like debunk stuff and think, oh, that's probably that, and that was this.
Right.
So that's like a whole filter that I use first to kind of to go through first. Then I kind of started to put other things, but like I try not to be, because I think people can lose control of their fear really quick.
Right.
And things can escalate in a heartbeat, and then they just lose control and run out of the building screaming because a bloody old pipe creaked, and they're like, "Oh my god! I swear I heard someone's voice saying, get out!" I was like, "No, you didn't. It wasn't that at all."
Yeah.
I think a lot of spookiness is literally just people scared of nothing.
Right.
But if you can control that fear side, like if something weird happens, just stand your ground, look around, and try and analyze what's happening.
Absorb.
I know it's easier said than done, I think, because some people say, how do you do that? But I'm like, I think if you want to see and understand, I think you have to really.
Yeah.
If you just keep running. That's what gets you about these ghost shows. I know they're all for entertainment purposes, but like their whole purpose is to go into a house and like communicate with ghosts. And when they do, they run out screaming. Like,
the camera's shaking and they're running. What's going on? What's happening? And
I was like, oh my god, you like run kind of thing. I was like, this is bullshit, man. I'm like, just stay there and see what's going on.
I think
you've got to kind of stay there.
Yeah, but I think like, and I've talked about this before, but like movies and like these shows and stuff, like it almost trains us maybe subconsciously to be afraid. Or like
it does.
It's an evil spirit, it's the boogeyman, it's it's gonna kill us, this ghost. And I'm like, come on, man, it's a spirit, and there might be ill intentions, it might be something worse, it could be a demon, but a lot of times I think it's a spirit, or it could just be a creaky pipe, it could be just
just the old house.
But I think the first step is to just try and open your mind, like, and I think that's what this show is the most about, is just be open-minded, just like turn off. Yes, you can be analytical, yes, you can be science-based. I believe in science, and I try to analyze things, but I also try to open my mind to the possibility. I don't know everything. None of us know everything. We don't have everything proved. So open your mind and try to, gain understanding from that, and peace and inner peace, and just try to I don't know, just try to change your mind on that, and don't be afraid, and look out the window, and who knows what that is. That could be that could be something amazing. It could be a witch flying by, it could be a spirit, at night. It could be, that could have been just a black cat that followed you, but what if it wasn't, what if it wasn't?
What you need to be more concerned about is if it's a criminal trying to break into your house or steal your car or burgle your house.
That's a certainty. Those
are genuine concerns.
That's a genuine concern, right? Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right, my friend. It's late for you. I thank you so much for staying up.
Thank you for having me
and coming back. Thank you very much. Definitely have you on again. And if you ever experienced anything, hit me up. Let me know. And I've
still got a few stories.
Okay. Hey, then you come back.
I've still got at least 3 or 4. So
okay. Because I want to share. I've got a story, and I'll share it when we'll swap stories. Because I've got one that I've been sitting on for a while, and that'll be fun. We'll do another one. But thank you so much, man. I will let you get some rest. Try to get some sleep tonight, and I'll do the same. Thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you again, man. Take care.
Any questions? Get in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. Check the comments. If you guys agree or disagree, or have your own stories, you know, or if you want to be on the show, I'm always open to hear. I've had a few people that have laid like great comments, and I'm like, hey, if you want to be on the show, and then they don't,
Mhm.
you know, they don't respond again. But yeah, if
Mm.
anyone is interesting or has a story to tell, I love that. I would love to hear the stories. That's what I'm here for. So more understanding and more openness and more, I don't know, just, you know, taking the fear
Mm.
out of the unknown and just embracing it basically. So
Yeah, it's healthy.
thank you again, Faisal. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you again
Good night.
soon.